Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Roll20 Presents The Burning Wheel. So we've seen a little bit of Agatha, we've seen some Alessandra, some Lodovic, some Joy. Let's take a visit to the court. Let's see what the court is about. So
How
Joy,
long after the king being in a coma?
yeah. So this is like the same day, probably.
Okay.
And the when you return to the court is in disarray.
Shambles. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Actually, let's Alessandra. You would have gotten back first.
Yeah.
So what did you do when you got back, Alessandra?
I probably immediately handed off Neculi to someone else and like
Okay, well
went to
let's have that because you in the last session you made a point of like evading Reza so that he
Reza.
wouldn't come with you.
Oh no.
So he's waiting for you when you get
Oh
back.
no.
Um, where
Oh
where does he
no.
where does he?
I mean, I come in like wherever they would usually drop people off from carriages. I'm sure there's only one like driveway. I don't have like several options. So
Yeah.
like the front door, you know.
Okay. All right. So you walk in,
I think that she's
and
too distracted to try and like think about the fact that this morning she,
yeah, you see him right away. You just see Reza
oh,
standing there, and he glares at you, and he says, he doesn't say anything. He just stares at you.
and I think that she goes to like move past him. Like she remembers when she sees him, like, oh, right. And she's probably got Neculi either by the hand, probably is if he's like not stumbling about too
He's only
much.
got one shoe.
Wait, he's missing a shoe?
Yeah,
Oh,
he lost one of his boots somewhere.
oh. Um, then I guess that she's probably carrying him, like, because she left the nurse. So there's not like another person to. So yeah, she's carrying Neculi, and she probably like pauses when she enters and sees Reza, and then is like, whatever, and like goes to move past him and probably take Neculi up to his like room or his school room or just someplace.
Yeah, you try to leave where you're currently at.
Yes, and very much like whatever. I have every right to do what I did. Like, don't look at me like that.
Okay. He stands in your way, obviously. Like you try to go past him, and he just like folds his arms and like steps in the way, basically baiting you to see if you say anything.
And I think that she would probably be like, now is not the time, Reza. The king is. Surely you saw the mirage.
Yes, I heard all about your little miracle.
And she's like, ugh.
Did you think that you could just take him and leave and that I wouldn't notice?
I thought I could take my son and go wherever I wished, as is my right.
Come here. And he like goes to take to take Nikolai from you.
Is there people around?
I mean, not like people, like servants.
Servants. Not people.
Not people.
Servants.
Yeah.
Um, I think that it's like her. Oh, I don't know, because like she was miraculously healed of the him hitting her in the face, and like I think that maybe she like hesitates, but she does like take a step back probably to avoid him like grabbing at Neculi.
So you don't want to let him.
No,
Okay. So you like turn, and he looks at you like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, how dare you?" And like he looks like legitimately shocked. Like, what the actual fuck?
are you intending to stand in my way all day in
He
my
says
house?
give me the boy.
No.
Okay. I mean, now he tries to take him from you. Like you don't have a choice. He steps forward and like grabs Necule.
Mm, I mean, ugh. I don't want to like tug of war on,
Right, exactly. Like, what do you do? Because
especially like in front of like servants.
he
Like,
grabs Nikolai is just kind of like just not all there right now. He's just kind of like staring off in the distance. So he doesn't even seem to notice he's being like beanbag tossed around. But yeah, like you'll have to do something like he's basically like lunging forward to like grab the kid. And if he gets his hands on Nikolai, yeah, you can't really like.
yeah, I want to attempt to just like go past him, but he's a big person and
Mhm.
I can't imagine that this is an expansive hallway.
No,
or,
he's explicitly like pinned you
trying
down
to
in a
block
place
my
where you
way.
can't. Yeah.
Yeah. But also I don't think that she wants the tug of war for the kid, so she probably like goes to like try and get out of his way again, but he like she wouldn't if he put his hands on Nikolai and was like tugging at him. I don't think that she's like the king is like there's a problem,
Yeah.
you know, and she's got priorities. So I think that she would be like she would let go of him
Mhm.
and like look around like we're
So
not gonna
he-
fight over this kid in front of like this.
Yeah, he uses like with one arm, he like scoops Nikolai up, so Nikolai's still facing you, and he like scoops him up, and he uses his other hand to push you away from him. Like it's like that. It's just like a get out of here, and like just shoves you away, and then turns. Nikolai's still hanging like a sack of potatoes, right? Like he hasn't turned him around. He's not like, ooh, little guy. Like he's just like a possession. He's hanging from his waist and just kind of like, ooh, staring off in the distance. And he says, "Don't you dare ever do anything like that again."
And I think that she probably doesn't like move forward again. She's very much like, I'm not gonna get in your space. And she's like, oh God, what would she say? I think she says, it's past the point where I will let you run loose, pretending that the boy is your son, Reza. But now is not the time. I have more pressing matters to attend to. And then I would like,
Yeah. Okay. So you try to go past him, and I think he grabs you as you walk by, like grabs you by the hair.
oh Jesus.
Yeah. He just like grabs the back of your head, and like wrenches you around so you're facing him.
Ah.
And he looks at you and he says, "There had best not be a next time, and you will learn to speak to me with some respect. Or the next time you taste the back of my hand, maybe your uncle won't be around to save you with his miracles." And then he like shoves you.
Mm.
I'm garbage, and I'm mad that the thing I did got reversed by someone.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, he's totally a trash man right now. But
Oh yeah, no, he's. I mean,
yeah, so he just like shoves you.
trash man. I think that she probably like catches herself. Like if he shoves her in the direction that she was going, she probably like catches herself on the wall or the doorway or something, and like straightens up her back, but like doesn't turn around and just moves forward as though she didn't hear anything.
Yeah, right. And the shove was very much a like, you want to leave, then leave, and like push to. He wanted you to fall, but I think it's fair to say you don't. Yeah, and so
Yeah, and she's like very much like gritting her teeth and being like,
yeah,
fucking deal with this later.
and then
like,
he turns back to
Yeah.
to Nicola, and he's like, "Oh, poor thing, what did she do to you? Where's your?" And he like, you can hear him like angrily storming away, talking to Nikolai. Where do you go? What do you do?
I go to the place that the king would probably be.
Okay, all right. So you want to go find the king?
Yeah,
Okay. So
that was the priority that I chose over Nikolai here.
Okay. So meanwhile, Joy, you have returned via the servants' entrance, and like everything is crazy. Like the servants aren't doing their job. No one is like,
The
pouring.
nearest person gets a face full of what the fuck is going on?
So it's like a scullery maid or something, and
Yeah.
she's like, oh, Joy, you haven't heard. There was a miracle at the church where everyone went to visit the choir. the angels themselves came down, and the king had a revelation and fell ill. And now he's abed, and there are priests, and there are doctors, and they say the Lady Alessandra had a golden halo laid upon her head by the angels. And what? What's so funny?
You all believe such shit. What happened?
I've just told you.
Alessandra had a golden halo.
Yes, that's what they said. And there was music, divine music.
Right. Where's the king?
I don't know.
Fair enough. Why did I expect you to know? I'll find him myself. And off I go.
Yeah.
She didn't say anything about him like being in a coma.
No, no. So
I'm still looking for the king. Like, I gotta get back to my job, right? Like, that's the deal. Like, first things first, report in.
Yeah. So you head out, taking like back exits, and I think that you come around a corner towards the room where you suspect the king to be, and you see Alessandra coming down the hallway in the other direction.
Oh, just who I was, well, not exactly who I was looking for, but somebody who will know where I'm supposed to be going. Where's the king?
And I think that she like slows her gait and she's like, the king is being taken care of and does not currently need your services, fool.
Taken care of? What do you mean?
You were present.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I left the meeting a little early there at the church. Couldn't really stomach so much religion.
Your job is to be with the king, and you left
Well,
because you don't like churches?
Pretty much. I thought my raucous laughter in the crowd of holy sanctified gathering maybe a little inappropriate.
And you can't hold yourself back from such actions.
Oh no, not when it comes to all of this.
Regardless, the king fell and is being cared for. She like just is like, I don't need to explain myself more to you, and like goes to like be back on her path into the king's like chambers or whatever.
Hot on your heels with a like, he's gonna be all right, right?
Well, as I've just
Surely.
arrived, I don't know, Joy.
I suppose we'll find out together then, won't we?
Don't you have anything better to do?
Other than make sure the person who currently keeps me employed in this castle is not dead? No, nothing better.
Come on. And when you say dead, she kind of like swallows and then just, quickens her pace like through the doorway. Like there's a lot of people. I don't know, like if he's here.
So yeah, I mean, you go to the king's like bed chambers basically, because that's where there's no like infirmary in your house.
No.
Yeah, and I think there are a bunch of people here. There's the doctor. There's your uncle. There are a bunch of other like miscellaneous hangers-on that you might expect to just have like snuck in or standing near the back of the room. And then there's servants. There's maybe like a dozen people in the room. It's a big room. And the king is lying in the bed, eyes closed, just lying still. You come in.
Yeah, I think I would.
The room is like the curtains are drawn, despite it being daytime. The curtains are drawn, so it's like dark in here, and there's like candlelight.
Yeah, and I think I would go up to Robillard probably, and be like, "What has happened? I was kept away when he fell."
Well, you don't. I mean, you come up to Robillard, and he turns to the doctor and says something like quietly as you're approaching, and then he turns and then moves towards you, so that you're not interrupting.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so yeah, you approach him.
I'm listening in on this, by the way.
Yeah, totally. Why don't you make an inconspicuous test?
Okay.
Not you.
Oh,
Yeah,
Joy.
sorry, not you, Alessandro. Yeah, we don't care.
Yeah,
how-
I mean, I'm not necessarily trying to be unnoticed, but I'll happily make an inconspicuous test to
because
see if
I'll change what he
out or
says
not.
based on whether
Yeah.
he notices that you're
Yeah,
listening in.
that's what I figured. Odd, Adam.
Let me roll. Where is my man? Let's see here. So he has observation, maybe? Maybe he does? I don't think he does.
I do not
Yeah,
know.
nobody has observation. Okay. So that means it's going to be just a simple perception test. No forks or modifiers. Okay. So I got 5 successes. But
So I need 2.
yeah, you basically need it's half.
Yeah, it would be half rounded down, so I think I'll scout it at her ob as being 2.
Okay.
So do you have anything you want to fork or?
No, I don't think so. So I think I was just assessing my forks.
Yeah, I think the general chaos of the situation, like everybody having things to pay attention to, has allowed for some people to just be here without like necessarily needing or being allowed to be. So yeah, you can add an advantage die.
Oh, okay, cool. Then I will do that, and based on 2, here we go. I do not succeed, but I have a 6. I'm gonna re-roll it.
Okay, yeah, reroll that 6. Do you want to
Elle
spend? Do you want
has
to spend?
a 6.
Do you want to spend the other 2 to roll another failed die?
No,
Okay.
I'm just gonna do the 1.
Okay, you got 50-50 chance. Okay,
Nailed
there
it.
you go. So he doesn't notice. He doesn't notice you listening in. Yeah. So you approach Alessandra, and Robillard says quietly, "His Majesty is yet alive. What happened to you?"
And she like hesitates because it was weird and she's not sure how to like explain it. But she's like Robillard of all people is like the only one who might like help her to understand. And I think that because of what happened before when she was miracleized, like she's willing to be like, it was something that I can't explain, and not just like, I don't know, nothing. So she's probably like, there was something held me. I couldn't. And then when it finally let go, everyone was crowding around. I couldn't get.
And he nods and he puts his hand on your shoulder and he says, "What happened in the chapel was the work of the angels. The king witnessed." So you like snicker, and both the two of them turned to look at you.
Yeah, like both of us are just like, the fuck, Joy.
Joy is like trying really hard not to laugh. It's one of
Yeah,
those
and
ones-
he sneers. He says,
You're
"Now is
best."
not the time, fool."
Don't let me interrupt.
And he puts his arm around Alessandra's shoulder and like leads her away from you. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're doing that. Like, this is.
I figured I'd just like ruin my
That's
whole
perfect.
advantage.
Yeah, you're gonna get fate for that. So he leads you like a little ways, like nearer to the window. You can feel the draft even through the heavy curtains. And he says, "His Majesty had a vision of the divine, and not all minds are able to withstand such things. I cannot know when he will wake. It is difficult that the angels chose to put this fate before him now, in the time when this kingdom so obviously needs strong leadership."
And I think Alessandra is like, she's not completely unaware of the like, I asked Agatha to do something and then something happened. And yeah, so I think that she's kind of like, There may be yet more to this than the angels, Uncle.
We must be very careful, niece, about the story we allow to be told. Truth is elusive. We must reassure the kingdom that this is no ill omen, that the king's condition is the result of what he witnessed in the chapel, that this is in its own way a blessing. They must be made to understand.
Yes, Uncle. And she's very much like, okay, I'm not gonna say anything. Let's fucking do
Yeah. Basically, he was just like, fucking stow that shit right now.
it. Yeah.
He says, the ways of heaven can be confusing, but we must see everything as their will, as an opportunity. And what the people need now is someone they can trust, someone to listen to. The kingdom cannot grind to a halt simply because His Majesty is unable to lead it. Do you understand me, Alessandra?
I think that I do, Uncle.
And he nods, and he says, there are a great many nobles waiting outside for some word. I would that you would be the one to give it to them.
Of course. And you will care for the king,
He
as you
nod-
did for me.
He nods. Of course.
And she does this thing like deep nod, like, I trust you to do what is right, and I'm gonna listen to you because, like, we have a deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that she probably like looks back toward the bed to where the king is just like, does he look like he's sleeping or does he look like he's dead?
He looks like the queen did, or yeah, he looks like the queen did, just like lying there still in a weird coma. You're not close enough
Yeah.
to see if he's breathing.
So I think that because he looks like the queen did, there's very much like a flashback, and Alessandra remembers again like that she just talked to Agatha and then this shit happened, but she swallows it, and like you know, the glance lingers, and then she probably turns away and goes to do what Robillard suggested.
Okay. So before you go, he blesses you because he wants you to go and make a roll with a skill you don't have.
So smart.
So let's see. Where's Faith? Because his plan here was to just, like put you in front of the nobles and like say something that like gets everybody calm. Let's see here. Meeting obstacle grants a die to any test. Is there a way that I can use faith to open end or give someone a skill that they don't have?
You can open end, yes. That's a slightly higher one than giving them extra dice.
What's the ob on letting that magic that gives you skills you don't have? Like sorcery. Because it's a boon. It's an ob 2 to open end an ability.
Yeah, so the sorcery that gives you a skill you don't have, sorcery can be used in place of knowledge.
Right, that's right. Yeah.
Rules for it.
Yeah, I don't think you can
Specifically.
grant it to someone.
Okay.
Give her a trait that made her better. But
Yeah, you can grant trait but not skills, I don't think.
Okay.
if there's like a cool one for oratory, he could try that maybe.
Yeah, the boon is ob 2.
Okay. Yeah. What's the call on for oratory? He'll give you that trait.
Command, persuasion, rhetoric. A call on?
Yeah. Is there a call on for? He can invent one. Right. It doesn't have to be an existing one.
Let me
Yeah,
see.
you just like increase the difficulty by, I want to say 4. Like cooldowns are worth 4 trait points or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, the miracles are meant to be pretty like sort of floppy, and I think that like this is a minor miracle, right? Giving someone a trait for 1 roll isn't like an ob 5 roll.
No,
Charismatic
sure.
is a call on for oratory. Okay, thanks, Vitamin.
Yeah, I have it for. Wait,
No.
I thought it was for persuasion or seduction.
That's the other. You've charming. That's different.
Oh, okay.
Charismatic is the like one that puts you in front of a crowd. Okay. But the problem is he can't give you a call on for a skill you don't have, right?
Yeah, because I wouldn't be able to.
Okay, so
forfeit
he's just
it.
going to open end your stat. I think that's the best he can do.
Okay. The prayer makes one ability open-ended
Yep.
until a scene is completed.
Mm-hmm.
The blessing ob 3 would grant 1 die to a stat, skill, health, or steel, but I don't know if that would work if.
Okay, let me just roll. Let me roll his faith here. It's ob 2. And what's the? Let's see. When you make the roll for faithful,
Aid is ob 4. Meeting the obstacle grants 1 die.
he doesn't want to give you extra dice though.
Gives you that. Okay.
Yeah.
Open-ended is ob 2.
Okay. All right. So we'll just make it ob 5. Make the test.
Why is it ob 5?
It's ob 2.
Oh.
There it is. Okay.
So I just open-end my.
Yeah. So when you the next test that you make with your will, is open-ended.
Okay.
So yeah,
Even if
he
I'm
tells
wearing
you. He says. Go and reassure the other nobles that everything is going to be all right. That the king's vision was ordained by heaven. That everything is going to be fine. Angels go with you, niece. And he like lays his hand on your shoulder, and you feel it. Like you feel confident.
Maybe it's in the same place where the hand on my shoulder was before.
Yeah, maybe.
The glowy one.
Mm-hmm. So, are you gonna go out there, Alessandra? Are you done
Yeah.
your conversation with Robillard? Okay. So, meanwhile, Joy, what are you doing? Well,
I was gonna say
your conversation got interrupted. They were like, "We're gonna go over here and talk." Shush. Stop.
Yeah, my first stop is the king, like the
Okay.
king's bedside, if I can get there.
Yeah.
Just,
Nobody like stops
See if
you.
he's like alive, you know. Not that I have any way to assess that other than being like, oh my king, you know, sort of thing, and him not responding is like,
Yeah.
well,
So you walk up and he's lying there, and it's not like he's like sleeping. He's just like laying there with his eyes closed, like still.
You said there's a doctor or something.
Yeah.
like
The court doctor is like there.
I mean, I would look at that person and be like, is he gonna be all right?
And he looks at you like, I don't answer to you.
Never mind. Like I don't want to get into this conversation if you're just gonna be an asshole about it. Sort
Yeah,
of.
you're just like, I don't care.
I look around this room. Is the Minister of the Forest Territories in attendance here?
She is not. No.
I am going to find her. That is,
Yeah.
that is my next move. Yeah,
Okay.
because if my thought process here is, if the king is incapacitated, my job is maybe not long for this world if nobody wants me around.
Uh-huh.
So I need another person to be like, no, I want Joy here. You know?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, you see Alessandra leaving the room too, so.
okay, you know what? Before we get to the minister, like Alessandra, I'm gonna like slide up beside
Scamper
Alessandra.
off after.
Yeah.
Okay.
And be like, so do you know is it you're taking over while he's
And like
Okay.
she's just walking like quickly to wherever like probably the big like main room where usually court is held, you know. And she says, Joy, not now.
it's kind of important to my whole being here thing that I clear this up and make sure that, you know, I can still be here. Sort of walking backwards in front of you if
Right
you're
as
like
you're
doing-
walking away, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I cannot even have a simple conversation without you snickering.
That is kind of my job, though, isn't it? To laugh and make others laugh?
I would think more the second than the first, Joy, and you're not very good at it. Now, are you? There has not been much laughter since you've been here.
Well, I wouldn't quite say that. I would say that I do my job very well, but you're just not mostly paying attention to the good parts, only running into the bad parts somehow. But I can make that up to you. You just have to say that I can stay here now.
So are you? It sounds like you're trying to persuade Alessandra that she's gonna need you around. That you can do a service for her.
You can try.
I take that to mean I'm making a roll.
I feel like that's there's a role here for sure.
Yeah.
I think you're trying to persuade Alessandra to keep you on as jester, because I think that you can try and do that. But if you don't succeed, then she might have a different task for you to stay on for reasons.
I mean, I'm not going to stop if I fail. Trust me.
Yeah, we know Joy better than that.
Yeah. So my will is 6.
All right. I'm going to...
When has that ever stopped, Joy?
throw some persuade in here,
Okay.
along with...
So how many dice in persuade do you have?
5.
Okay, 5 dice
along
persuade.
with an ugly truth fork for the I'm gonna get thrown out if you don't say it.
And also justifying your existence with ugly truth is a thing every jester has had to do. Like, you can't get rid of me.
course.
The kingdom needs me. My role is
Of
important.
course.
Okay.
But I think that's it. I think that's pretty much all I can.
Oh, God.
Do you wanna spend a persona?
No.
Okay.
No. There's not enough chance that I will succeed for me to want to bump.
You're not close enough to bump that. Okay.
No, not at all.
All right.
So we're just gonna roll 6 die
Six
against
dice
the challenge
against-
6 and
6
see
against
what we
I want you to get
see what we
them.
hit.
Oh my
Zero!
No.
On the plus side, my persuade just went up. So
Yay, there you go. So I think that Alessandra stops when you're and she's obviously in a hurry, but still she stops and she looks at you and she remembers what happened.
I'm walking back while you stop, and I stop and almost trip over my own foot, backing up quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she remembers what happened just a few minutes ago, and she looks at you, and you can tell that there's a thought process going on behind
Maybe I
her
have
eyes.
use for you.
And I think while you're doing that, pause and you're clearly thinking, I sort of walk back towards you a little bit and incline myself, and say something else. Then maybe not laughs. Something on your mind.
Joy, the king has no need of your services as a jester. Perhaps you should. And she's very she's underlining and bolding these words. She's perhaps you should take up your old job at the kitchens.
The kitchens, really? That's what you want me for?
Or you can go die in the streets.
Okay, so there's a role there, right? Now we flipped it. So Alessandra, you are persuading.
Convince me.
Yeah, you're persuading Joy that it would be better to stay and do the poisoner thing again. Then if you don't, then you're threatening to kick her out, basically.
And are we saying here that Elf's resounding failure gives a bonus to Alessandra's roll now to come back with this other thing?
Here's my question.
Treat it as a setup action.
You gave me a blessing for the next roll I made.
That's true. Your blessing
it's a blessing for the next time you roll will. It's the stat.
Oh,
so you're rolling persuade, which is the skill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And a beginner's luck is considered the stat.
I have a will of 5, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to clarify.
So just
there.
the intent in the task here is your intent is to convince Joy that's the reason Joy should stay. That's worth staying for. And if you succeed, then later you can have the conversation about what that's going to look like. If you fail, then obviously Joy, you can just be make the decision yourself. You can still say yes.
Yeah.
Later, but
I just want there to be a roll to influence.
If it succeeds, then you're bound to it. It's like a little mini Duel of Wits.
Okay, yeah, it's very like yes, a mini duel of wits. Okay, so persuade. Um,
I can't believe I managed to roll 0 on 6
That's magnificent.
um, manipulation wise.
It doesn't seem that manipulative. It's pretty straightforward. This is like an order.
Okay. Staff wise, then, if it's an order, she's my servant or the servant of the court.
She's a member of the staff of the court, and you are referring to her in that regard. Sure.
Is she also a member of the court, court wise?
I don't think in this case you get both. No.
Okay, so it's one or the other. All right. So one.
Elf, did you just not want to be outdone by me this session for like worst roll?
Who can fail the hardest?
Look, I'm never outdone. Do you remember that series of failed rolls last game where I like failed 4 times in a row and got 1 success?
The worst, I think the worst like witnessed roll in Burning Wheel history, Dro, who's one of the Burning Wheel headquarters guys, was telling me that he rolled 11 dice on a resource test and didn't get any successes. He's like, well,
Cool.
and that's
Okay,
huge. Like the tax for that roll is enormous.
Yeah, I think I only have that one then, unless Ugly Truth would count, but I don't think that, or Extortion.
I mean, the ugly truth is like you get to decide what Joy gets to do, right? Like it's power. That's the ugly truth.
That's true. The Ugly Truth is I can kick you out on your ass.
Yeah, that is the ugly truth. That's where
Okay.
your authority is coming from.
All right. So 2, and you said what's your will?
5.
Okay. A lot more willful than most of the people around here.
With
Yeah.
you advancing your persuasion, is that now 6?
Yes.
Are you now the most persuasive
Yes.
person?
Yeah.
No, I'm persuaded.
Oh, you're both 6? You're tied. There you go. So, I mean, yes, you're just not
I think
exclusive.
that would have been hilarious. That's all.
I mean, you practice it up. What'd you start at, 4?
No. 2.
Hey, can I spend 2 to re-roll a traitor?
You can. Yep.
Okay. God, we're getting rid of so much of this fate
Oh,
now.
it's working.
Ah, please,
1d6,
Mother
here we
of
go.
God.
Ooh,
Hey!
there it is.
Solid.
Okay.
Persuaded.
So later, Joy, if you have, you're like you by merit of the roll, you're like, okay, I'll take that job if you're not going to officially give me the other one, and then later you can have like a full duel of wits if you don't agree with how Alessandra wants to.
I mean, my
utilize
plan
you.
here is to be like, sure, I'll take the kitchen job and then find someone who'll offer me a better job in a more private section.
Yeah, that's.
You know, I'm going to be like, okay, if that's what it takes to stay, then fine, kitchens it is.
And then find an alternative.
And my exact next thing I'm going to do is look for the minister and try
And I'm
to...
gonna go find somebody who's gonna give me a better job.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right. So you're like, yes, of course, the kitchens, and then scramble off.
I mean, yeah, the minister doesn't like. She probably has her own shit. You don't have to. That's exactly.
I'll just like attach myself to that house
So,
rather than...
Alessandra, what are you doing?
I then say, fine, scamper off, get to it. The kitchen's a wait, and then just like go to where I was going to go in the first place.
I'm sure they'll really enjoy me joining them in the scullery section. Oh, definitely.
Are you sure? Are you sure you don't have a task for her? I'm pretty sure someone needs to get poisoned.
Okay, well, not right.
Not
at
right
the
now.
moment.
90%. Okay.
It takes a while to appropriately poison a person. All right.
No, we're
It really
29
doesn't.
sessions in.
It's
been
pretty
a
quick.
while. He's needed it for 29 sessions now.
Well, he can wait one more hour. I don't know.
Can you wait one more session?
Yes.
Will you
Yes.
survive?
Excuse me. I'm trying to talk to these nobles. All right. Do I go to the court, or is that where they're gathered?
Yeah. They're all standing around, like waiting for someone. This is the like presidential press conference, right? As soon as you open the door that leads out onto the dais, they all just like everybody goes quiet and there's like whispering, and it's like, "That's the lady Alessandra. I heard there was a miracle. Were you there? Did you see her?" And it's like whispering in the crowd as you walk out.
Yeah, and I think Alessandra is like, she would have been thinking about what like to say, but then Joy like interrupted her, so she like steps out without already having planned a lot of like, okay, I'm gonna say this and this. So this is her oratory not being trained yet, right?
Yeah.
And she like clears her throat even though everyone's already like fairly quiet, and she says, I'm sure you've all heard of what happened at the church. Our king was visited by a vision from the angels who have been so present in our lives recently. It has stunned him, and he will need time to recover. But
someone in the back interrupts you and shouts, His Majesty yet lives.
yes,
And there's like whispering and like relief in the crowd.
the same man who healed me, Father Robillard Garrulus, is at this moment tending to the king. And I have faith that he and the angels will do such miraculous work as I have already been visited by. In the meantime, and she probably steps around the chair where the king would normally sit, and is standing in front of it. The life of the court and of the kingdom must still go on. I hope that, as you have in the past, you will trust me to, and I think that she's very much like, oh God, this is the thing. Trust me to handle things until the time that the king recovers.
Okay, let's make that test. So they're all looking at each other like, wait, what is she talking about? Does this mean what is so if you succeed at this test, the nobles of the court will see you as the interim regent, right? Person. You're not the fucking queen or anything, but you will assume the king's responsibilities while he is out.
And I very much was like, he'll be fine. The angels are gonna help.
If you fail, you still take the position of regent, but they neither trust nor believe in you.
Okay.
Right. So they're just you get the job either way, but
I have a suggestion.
Yes, Dave.
If you really fail, this is when all my cool people come in with their guns and they all shoot you.
No, that's terrible. That's a terrible idea. And besides, no one. The guns aren't there yet, and nobody. Get the fuck out of here. We'll get to you.
What's my ob?
Gun boy. It is the most common will exponent in the crowd. So
3.
3.
Okay.
Which is significant. That makes it 6.
So, it's not likely.
Your will is open-ended, and you can spend up to 3 of your fate to get some rerolls. So.
Okay.
Good luck.
Oh,
that was a lot of 6s.
Ha. Okay.
So that was you rolled 2 6s. 2 of them came back up as 6s. That's big. Okay, so
I'm spending the 2
you can spend all 3. You can spend 3 of your 5 fate right now to roll 2 dice.
I'll spend 3 to reroll 2
Yeah, this
dice.
is pretty significant. So.
Okay. Oh, please, motherfucking God.
There it is.
Boom! Queen Alessandra.
You're not the queen yet.
Okay, it
You're
doesn't
the temporary
matter.
regent.
I sit down in the
De
fucking
facto
chair.
queen.
I sit in the chair, and
So-
I am proud as fuck.
Yeah, so they I think there's a moment as you sit down where they take a knee, right? They the nobles of the court kneel before their divinely appointed queen. And we just see in the background we see Robillard standing in the doorway just smiling and nodding
Yes.
All right. GG, everyone. Blue Jay won. Campaign over.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah, that's how it works, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the
First to your goal.
yeah, first person to go. It's a race. Cool. So while that's happening, Joy, you are elsewhere. While Denisandra is being installed.
Yeah.
Where are you going? What are you doing?
I'm looking for the
Oh, that's right.
The minister.
Yeah. Okay. So let's have you roll circles.
Yes, indeed. Let me do so. What's the ob for this?
I think it's usually 2 for her.
It usually is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
That's fine.
I'm wondering if I have a relationship with her yet. No, I don't.
But you do get the extra die, right? But it just takes a while to build up to that.
Okay. Well, let's do it then, shall we? Martha, no, I don't need Martha. Basic 2. Boom. No problem.
No problem.
I find her real good.
Okay. All right. So you you find her. She is currently with like a bunch of Green Mantle, the Green Mantle captain, Captain Shaka, and some of the other Green Mantle, and they are in a like one of the map rooms and lying out on the table. It's like you've walked into the war room. There are pieces in play. There's a map of the forest territories. And it looks like they're in the middle of like finishing a conversation when you walk in. Cheka turns to the minister and says, "As you command, minister." And she nods and she says, "Go, make it so." And they like leave. Cheka leaves, and then grinning, the minister turns to you and says,
I like lingering in the doorway.
Yeah, she says, "Ah, hello, Joy."
My esteemed minister, wonderful to see you again.
She grins and she says, normally I wouldn't trust this obsequious attitude, but I think I'm owed a little obsequiousness.
Would you like me to bend down and kiss your boots or something?
No. And she looks over and there's like a sideboard with like a decanter of wine. She says, "But you can pour us some wine."
Done and done. I say, like walking into the room, grab the wine, grab a like goblet off the table. And,
you give it to her, and she drinks the whole thing in one go and like sets it down. And she says, "Where have you been crawling around?"
Well, we rats like to delve into small places looking for whatever we can find. I do have a bit of a delicate conversation to have with you, however. I think it best I do it now so as to get it out of the way. But all this business with the king that's happening now. Yes.
Yes, his vision. It's not unheard of.
Well, with him out of commission, I'm left in the lurch somewhat, serving His Majesty and his household, of course. But now that none of them are in power, my position might disappear under our new, severe leadership.
I'm sure that they'll decide someone to play regent until the king recovers. You can suck up to them.
Had a feeling I know who that's going to be, and didn't work.
Oh, any insight you'd like to share with me?
As to who the regent will be? If I had to guess, Alessandra. And in the other room, it's like happening.
Yeah, right.
Now.
And she sneers and she says, "That lackwit, I suppose. Nobility's known for making stupid decisions at bad times."
She's, very far down the track of divine inspiration and so forth. They all seem to eat that up like cake. You've not heard? No, I suppose you haven't. You've been planning.
She nods. Yes, I've had productive things to do, like saving this kingdom from starvation.
I've been keeping my ear out for anything that might be beneficial to you, of course. And I'll fill you in. Big meeting at the Church of the Angels. Alessandra apparently received some kind of divine glow, according to one of the servants. I wasn't present for that, but reliable information, I would say, considering how all the other nobles are acting. All based around this priest fellow, her uncle. I don't remember his name, but I
know the man.
Not to mention the miracle of her, health returning to her very quickly after that injury of hers. All these things building up to a very, very pointed sort of, I don't know, leader by divine right kind of business.
They're all a bunch of charlatans. I can't believe that the animal of House Corvidae is a bird. It should be a snake or a roach or a rat. I hate rats.
Some very strong opinions.
She shrugs. People who have religious convictions are fools.
I agree, personally. Now, here's the thing I need to ask. I was hoping that I might work more closely and officially with you, dear minister.
If you hadn't noticed, I'm not exactly a humorous person. I have no need for japes.
Maybe not in my typical role. I have been known to do a great many and varied things in the past. Make for a good assistant or something of that sort.
She looks at you and she says, I'm not sure I have any need for a slippery, untrustworthy foreigner either. Tell me something specific you can do for me.
Oof. Harsh words cut right to my soul.
Cut the bullshit, Joy. Say what you've come here to say. Make me an offer.
I can see you're a lady of no trim, so to speak. So yes, I'll cut the bullshit. I'm good at things. Lots of things that have nothing to do with being a jester. I know people. And my knife comes out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. Sleight of hand check if I have to.
No, I don't think so.
And I've been carrying this around for 5 years and no one has noticed. Tuck it back away. I also know my way around dangerous substances. And managed to survive on my own in the streets after the castle fell for quite some time. I'm resourceful. I can find what you need and what you want. And I know things.
The kinds of offers you're making me are appealing if I were trying to climb some sort of political ladder, if I had the intent to seat myself on the throne, but I'm actually very comfortable, Joy. I've just gotten royal writ, and you look and you can see like on the table there's like, a royal seal on a piece of paper to send the Green Mantle Company out into the forest and clear out some of those barbarians. I'm going to be a hero any day now. The city of Carpathia is going to eat again because of me. I don't think I need an eel like you.
I mean, the question is, if all that goes off well, then those things. But what if it doesn't? You might need someone to cover your back. I could be that person.
I hate politics. I hate even imagining I might ever, in any situation, have use for a person like you.
Let me level with you, like, entirely. I've had enough of trying to step around this. I'm sick of being Joy. I have another name, It's a name that never gets used because, well, it's my real name. And I'd like to take off the dog tag, so to speak, and be a person again. And I think that the place that I can do that the best is for you. Because you seem to be interested in things that would be important to you. Things that might interest your interests, You're already the minister of the forest territories. Yes, nice and high up the ladder. Plenty of accolades, I'm sure, and lots to come in the future. But you can't take everything directly. It doesn't work like that. Nowhere does it work like that. In the years and years I have spent at this court, I have never seen it work being direct and honest and forthcoming and forthright. Violent, certainly, but your plans will not go ahead as you think they will, not because you planned them poorly, but because someone has screwed you, and I can find out who that is.
Make a persuasion roll.
What's the will for our
her will's 5.
Her will's 5?
Yeah.
Okay. Persuade and falsehood. because I'm the person screwing her currently.
Yeah, right. You're going from having no jobs to having too many.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see. Can I fork ugly? No, I'm forking falsehood. I can't
Yeah.
fork ugly truth into that. So okay, so you said 5?
Yes.
I'm gonna spend a persona on this one.
Okay. All right.
1. I rolled a 1.
This
I
is
might as well have just been a dog barking.
This is what you get for laughing at God all the time. God hates you and makes you roll 1 success on fucking 7 dice. So
I cannot believe this shit.
she listens to you patiently, and then when you slow, she says, "You know what, Joy? The reason that you don't fit in around here isn't the color of your skin or the fact that you come from some flea-bitten desert 1,000 miles away. It's that you don't understand what it means to be Carpathian, something many of the people of this court seem to have forgotten, and something that I hope to remind them of. Being Carpathian means solving your problems with the sword. If I have my way, not only will I have no need for people like you, weasels, scrambling around in the dark, but this kingdom will have no tolerance for people like you either. I'm sure that you're very clever and that you're very crafty, but those are lower class attributes. I aim to bring nobility back to Carpathia, and my operations in the Forest Kingdom are only the beginning. So if you know what's... So before, just let me... She's one last thing. She says, so before you get yourself hanged by making the wrong proposal to the wrong person, I'm going to give you an opportunity to scramble away, find some shadow to do your work from, and don't darken this place with your oily presence again.
Is she wearing any armor that I can see?
No, I don't think so.
It's so tempting. It's so tempting to just be like, well, you want to see Carpathian? Here we go.
She's armed, like she has a sword. And
she has a sword in the way that all the nobles that fight carry around swords.
She's also like a proud Carpathian, though, right? So like she seems like a likely person to be able to like.
Yeah, I mean, she's commanding the Green Mantle Company people. Like I would have to get her on the first one, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
this wouldn't be a versus test. This would be an all or nothing for either of you. Like either you stab her or she stabs you. This isn't a fight.
But also, if I stab her, I am screwed.
Yes, yeah. This would be like a stab and run situation.
You know what? I haven't stabbed anyone this game. I'm gonna fucking stab her. Let's go.
Okay, all right. So
let's fucking go.
Your intent is to murder her. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, your intent is murder. So if you win, she dies. Her intent is to...
There's no way I'll succeed. It's like impossible.
I mean, doesn't she have to avoid being murdered first? Because like
just because you have the murder urge doesn't give you an advantage. Just because you're like the person to do it. Like her intent is to not get murdered, right? It's not like she will have to do another thing to try to kill.
Yeah, like
if
that
she
was my
wins.
thing, just avoid
So
being
here's what'll
murdered.
happen. If you win, she dies. If she wins, she doesn't die, and you get like an incidental injury from the scuffle. Then she'll probably try to kill you. In which case, your intent can be get the fuck out of there. But you do get the first strike in that if you beat her, she won't have any recompense. She won't get to like counterattack.
Oh, my dice pools are not good for this, but
do it anyway.
All right.
Fuck it. I know exactly what I'm gonna do, Adam.
Okay.
Here's the play. Okay. I'm gonna like nod after she says these things, and then back away a little bit, and like turn. And then from the doorway, I'm going to look back at her over my shoulder And I'm gonna say like Carpathian, huh? And then I'm gonna fucking whip the knife at her.
Okay. So in that case, the best she can do is avoid. She doesn't get to use her sword skill. She'll have to avoid the knife, and then she'll draw the sword and chase you, basically. Yeah. Okay. All right. So if you succeed, you bury the knife in her heart and she dies. I think that's fine to have that as the thing. If she succeeds, she dodges your throw. And then the next test will be that she. Then we'll talk about what happens.
Okay.
Now, see, that's better. That's a much better fictional position for you because if you fail, you're not going to get hurt.
Yeah.
I have a thought.
Okay.
Which is that you know who loves murder?
Corruption.
Dark gods.
I mean, I know.
Beings from
I
beyond.
really don't want to fork corruption, but I think I'm gonna.
If you spend a fate, you get a helping die from corruption. It's super chill.
Okay.
Okay.
And otherwise, you're fucking dead. So you know.
I mean, I've got like a 5 die pool here. If I'm looking at it like the way I think it'll go, it's not.
Look
awful.
at your track record this session, Elf, and tell me that 5 is a
it's
good
bound
number.
to change. Okay, it's bound to
It
change.
says every gambling addict ever.
it's fun.
Okay, so it said to use the range and cover rules for throwing. And
I mean, not the whole thing. We're not going into a full range and cover, but
yeah,
like,
no. But it says to use those rules.
for like dodging.
Optimal range is ob 2. Extreme range, which I don't think this is, too close to shoot.
I mean, you have a chance to put yourself in optimal range, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so that says ob 2. There's a stride advantage. I don't know what that's for.
The best part about this is if I fail, it's just gonna wing off the wall like it did with the melee.
Well, no, if you fail, she like moves and you hit the chair where she was sitting, and then she's like, "Oh fuck you," and draws the sword and tries to murder you.
The capabilities of a missile weapon grant advantage dice to the wielder's maneuver test according to his.
So we're not doing the
rank.
maneuver test. That's
Okay.
not. That doesn't happen. That all kind of
all
happens built in.
All the extraneous stuff doesn't matter here. Like all the extra, like
Yep. All I need to know is
fighting
just
bits.
it's a thrown weapon. At
optimal range.
optimal range, so it's ob 2.
It's ob 2. Okay.
I believe that's the case.
I might be able to do ob 2, guys. It's possible.
here's the thing, Elf. If you get extra successes, you can spend those to place your hit.
Well,
or
no. So
step
we're not. The thing is here though is
We're not doing that. We've already.
We're not doing that.
So I don't think ob 2 is reasonable. So ob 2 would be to just hit her with the knife. Let's call it like it has to be a higher ob to kill her in one go.
Yeah, for sure. I'm aiming for like her face or you know.
No,
I reckon
would
4.
neck be best?
We don't have to. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. She's not wearing any armor. It's not about hit location. This is just can you hit her in a place that will kill her in one
So
shot.
what's my ob, Adam?
I think out and out murder is ob 4.
Okay.
I think just like a single throw, a perfect throw, weighted to strike the heart or whatever.
Okay. I have
What do you even accomplish? It's so good. This
it's nothing. This is literally just joy finally breaking. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like this is just a raid.
You called me a dog for the last time.
Yeah. So here's what I'm gonna do. Knife skill, fork throwing,
Of course.
fork sleight of hand,
Yeah, I think
And-
that's fine.
and
Corruption, persona.
yeah,
So you can
persona,
Spend a persona. Okay.
corruption. I
A
can
fate
fork
point.
corruption
Fate point
for
to tap
fate.
corruption. Okay, so that gives you another forked die. So you have what, 6 now? 7?
7. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually throw. It starts as throwing, and then you fork in knives.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're-
You want me to do it that way?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so let's refigure the pool. So how much is your throwing?
throwing? So throwing 3.
Okay, so you start
Plus
with 3.
knives is 4.
Yep.
Plus sleight of hand is 5.
Yep.
Plus corruption is 6. Plus persona is 7.
Okay, 7 dice, ob 4.
Okay.
So it's your pool will be 6. It'll ask you to add in the Arthur separately. You've done this before, and then you have potentially you can reroll 6s, and you can reroll if you spend 2 fate, you can roll 1 failed die.
Here we go.
I'm crossing my fingers so hard for you right now.
Ah!
Okay, all right. So you didn't get any 6s. So if you spend 2 fate,
Do it. Fucking
Yeah,
do
of
it.
course.
you've got a 50-50 chance at succeeding on this.
Oh my fucking
Do it.
god.
Do it. Please, dice god.
No!
Oh no!
No! Why? Every time.
So she sees your perfidy at play as you draw the knife, you hurl it, you hear thunk as it hits the chair, and she is rushing at you like a fucking locomotive.
I fucking ditch out
Gonna
as
run.
fast as I can. Yeah.
Now let's take a short break right here, and when we come back, we'll talk about what this might look like, because her goal now is to run after you and chop you into a bunch of small pieces for throwing a knife at her, and you need to run like hell. So stick around. We'll find out what that looks like when we get back.